This organized chaos video is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Watch the Marvel is Dying video. Yeah, that came out 2 months ago, and that's his second most popular video. And Green Brie Larson for some reason. Okay, we'll check this out.
Is the door to Iron Man totally closed? Because I don't believe it is.
Oh.
You guys can go through time now. You can go, you already opened up that door.
Let me ask you the question. If I pick the jersey back up and put it on, wouldn't you feel a little bit like, crap?
No.
Oh.
Here's what I think.
All right.
They go through a few semi-lackluster Avengers movies without you.
Okay, Black Widow definitely had its issues. Shang-Chi is fine. Are you gonna focus on the gay kiss in Eternals? Eternals was actually one I thought was very underappreciated. I actually liked that a fair bit. And yeah, I've been pretty forward. I thought Doctor Strange 2 was pretty fucking awesome. Thor Love and Thunder was an entertaining movie, but was kind of a shit show. I'll give you that one. I enjoyed Hawkeye quite a bit, so, no.
Nerdrotic.com.
In my last Disney Marvel.
Yeah, Eternals is totally underrated in my opinion. It does drag a bit in the beginning, and I don't think the Deviants work as villains, but when we get to, like, the real crux of the story, it ends up really good. I like it a lot.
Marvel video, I may have alluded to the fact that the subsidiary of Disney should be in panic mode because it's doomed. Well, things have gotten worse. Don't believe me? Let's just see what's happened in the last month.
Okay, yes! I wasn't super into superhero comics.
So, yeah, we just gotta have a woman saying, okay, yes, and that's a joke. Cool. It's good to know you don't have high standards. Just throw whatever shit in there. Whatever.
Comics when I was a kid, I read a lot of, like, indie press stuff.
Nani?
Because most superhero comics, like, had the same kind of rhythm, you kind of get fatigued from, like...
I like how he does, like, a zoom in for yeah, it's an interview. She's just talking like I'm talking because this is a live stream, Gary. Yeah, you get little voice shit that happens when you're talking. It happens. Actors are better trained at it, but even they'll say dumb shit in an interview. Doesn't mean anything.
Like the drama of it all, the high stakes, and a lot of it are very tortured stories,
Now you for real? Is Steve Rogers in fact still a virgin?
And I love
We wondered so much about it as writers that we put it in so...
Listen, she's just giving a normal interview, but we're going to edit it funny to make her look silly because we're progressive. We're not sexist at all here.
So many more episodes than we had to pull back from it, but...
Did you see that ass? Like, that ass did not deserve to die virgin. It's, like, so sad.
Like us, she was like, he's so hot, it would be such a waste if he left this earth having never enjoyed sex.
Flick too hard!
Honestly, I agree with Jen there. That would suck if Captain America never got laid. But yeah, I think it'd be pretty obvious he would have opportunities to get laid if he really wanted to. But yeah, that would suck. Like, what? Are you saying Captain America should be a virgin? I mean, what the fuck is your argument?
Damn it!
There has been critique that, like, her body is not muscular. And to me, I kind of find that to be an interesting conversation to have.
No!
Yeah, it is I haven't seen that critique. That'd be a weird one because, yeah, she's very muscular as She-Hulk.
Oh God, please, no! No!
There's only one making a stallion.
This is a very special show. Please welcome the incredible cast of Echo. Alakwa Cox.
Who?
You first appeared in Hawkeye. Now you've just wrapped starring in your own show. How does it feel?
Oh my gosh. what a journey this has been. This is only my second role I've ever had, and now I've become a lead. It's just so crazy to me.
I can't hear you!
Yeah, she's a deaf mute, you asshole. That's why she has a fuck, man. Don't be an asshole, Gary. Of course, yeah, he's always an asshole, so I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, it's Brie Larson. God, these guys are so triggered by her. Like, she walks on stage and he's probably already triggered.
This is the big finale.
Let's talk about the young fans seeing you on that screen flying. Seeing a black woman flying.
A black chocolate woman with big, kinky, luscious hair.
Sexy chocolat. Sexy chocolat.
Here, it is for young women, for women my age.
Okay, cool.
Older women, it is going to be especially encouraging and exciting to have that image, that vision.
Yeah, oh God, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, we have Storm. We have a black woman that can fly in movies. We have Storm. Guys, we got one. You don't need to introduce any more. No more black women flying ever because Storm existed, guys. What the fuck are you? I hate this argument. It's like Ben Shapiro being like, oh, we don't need black people in Star Wars. We have Lando. So the fuck what? That's one. Grow the fuck up.
Visual on screen.
Did she surprise you with any of her knowledge? All the time, every day. Like, I ask her questions all the time because she...
Excellent point, Alex. They'll mock the She-Hulk dance scene, yet never the dancing in Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, they did... well, not really Phantom Menace. People in general will mock the Guardians of the Galaxy dance scene. That being said, it was not nearly on level of the She-Hulk twerking scene. Not remotely the same thing. So your point still stands.
Understands it. It's deep. It's deep.
She literally turned to me in the middle of a scene one day. She's like, wait, am I an Avenger? And I was like, Brie.
I'm also like a woman, so I have a menstruation, and that was also scary to me. I was like, what do I do?
Jesus Christ, what the What? Originally, this video was planned to be a mid-season review of She-Hulk. Let's check in on that.
This is expanding the definition of what a Marvel Studios production can be.
Hey, we just brought up, here's the twerking scene that they're so triggered by. By the way, this was a mid-credits joke. Like, you could say it's not even part of the episode proper, and even if it was, I don't care, because it's literally a joke. She is a lawyer whose client at this time is Megan Thee Stallion, and yeah, she is twerking with her because she's a client. And it's Megan Thee Stallion, and I'm pretty sure Jen was a fan. So, grow up?
And the last couple of episodes have been absolute bangers. We went looking at shoes, shopping for outfits that we never saw put on, and puked at a wedding.
Okay, so, like, yeah, I'm not the biggest fucking fan of... This drives me nuts. I'm not the biggest fan of She-Hulk. I'm not the biggest fan of Captain Marvel. I'm not the biggest fan of Ghostbusters 2016. But these assholes act like it's the worst goddamn thing ever. It's like, they're fine for them. Well, Ghostbusters 2016 is meh. Captain Marvel and She-Hulk were fine. She-Hulk was definitely better than Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel had good ideas, but didn't really execute them well. She-Hulk actually has some really good episodes. Not all of them, but it has some good ones. These are not the worst things ever. Do you know what's quite a bit worse than all the stuff I just named? Fucking Morbius that came out earlier this year. That somehow they aren't doing 50 billion fucking videos on that one. Almost like there's a difference between something like She-Hulk, Ghostbusters 2016, and Captain Marvel, and Morbius. I wonder what the difference could be, though. This is a one to ponder. This is a mystery for the ages.
Certainly sounds like a show written by wine moms who don't know anything about the law or superheroes.
You know, in the Marvel movies, we get to see a lot of high-stakes events. You know, the universe is going to end. Everyone in existence is going to go away. But what happens in between those events? What happens on a regular Tuesday when you just have to do laundry?
Oh, get it? She's a clown because she's giving an interview talking about how she's going to do the show. You can criticize how the show was done, but, like, her, like, mission plan of essentially doing, like, a show about the average life of a superhero when they're not always superheroing, there's nothing wrong with that idea at all. In fact, that I believe that idea was already done a lot in Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman back in the fucking 90s. Hey, Dean Cain is cringe as fuck, but a lot of that series was about the average life of fucking Superman.
Really kind of the slice of life that this show
Yeah,
kind of
someone-
explores, which we knew is what the MCU fans were screaming for.
Yeah.
Hell no.
But you know who we haven't heard from in quite a long time? My girl Brie Larson at D23. Let's see what she's got to say.
How long will you play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know. I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
Don't be so modest.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have the answer to that.
Hey, in her defense, man, that she's probably had to block a fuck ton of people on social media after all the harassment you guys focusing on her. It's fucking obnoxious. This is why, like, she might give an answer like this, because, like, fuck, this is obnoxious, and that's gotta wear on her, the shit she's getting. Hey, I'm not saying Brie Larson's never done a cringe take, but it's like, almost all celebrities do cringe takes, but, like, she does something, like, lots of times she does shit that I don't even consider particularly cringe, and, like, these fucking Fandom Menace people swarm her and do, like, 50 billion fucking videos on it, and it's like, move the fuck on with your lives, people. Seriously.
Aside from the fact that I have an answer for her, no, maybe she's upset about the fan response to
Well, you know what? The actual review score is 79%. Say what you will about the actual reviewers that are certified, because I know there's some cringe characters who are certified. That is a way more reliable score than the audience score. In fact, let's see if I can bring it up now, because I didn't mean to press that. They have had to change how Rotten Tomatoes operate. So let me go ahead and bring this up, because this is something I meant to bring up. Actually, I meant to bring it up on Fandom Initiative, but I forgot. So we'll go ahead and do it right here. I wonder if it's, I doubt it's for Captain Marvel, but it would be a great example if it applied there. No, it doesn't. Okay, so let's go to a newer example. We're going to look at Strange World, because this is where I discovered this. All right, so I got the Strange World Rotten Tomatoes thing up here, and, you know, it's got the tomato score of 75% and the audience score of 67%. Now, you might notice a lot of the Fandom Menace guys talk about how Strange World has a really low audience score, but you might be thinking, 67%? It doesn't seem particularly low. What's up with that? And I will tell you exactly what's up with that. So you click on that audience score. You pull up the same thing. All critics, 75%. A verified audience, 67%. Well, wait. Because we click on all audience, all of a sudden that score goes to 40%. Now, I did some research, and in fact, it might be right up on here. What's the difference between a verified audience and all audiences? Verified audience score, the percentage of users who made a verified movie ticket purchase. So what the difference is that essentially this, 67%, are the people who can verify that they bought a ticket to see this movie. And these are just everybody. So I can guarantee you this is garbage. It's a useless rating. These are people review bombing the shit out of it. And this is an actual, like, rating. And Rotten Tomatoes has had to do that because of shit like this on Captain Marvel. It's part of their way to combat against the Fandom Menace and their fucking review bombing.
Marvel, maybe she's upset about getting demoted in her own sequel, or maybe...
I see the Fandom Initiative in the chat. I should read through some of the unverified ones. Out of curiosity, who is the Fandom Initiative? Am I looking at Turf or Dane? I'm guessing Dane, because it'd be a bit late for Turf. Let's see. Everybody. If you're not subscribed to the Fandom Initiative or Actual Fandom or Turf Nation, go ahead and subscribe there. And also subscribe here if you're not subscribed here. Yeah, let's go through some of these. Let's see, can we bring this up? It doesn't make it easy to go into it. This is going to be a pain. It's not going to make it easy to get to audience reviews, is it? That's not helpful. Go away. Because I do know there's some gems. Here we go. Verified. Okay. So Verified, 5 stars. Verified 2. It was a good movie overall with some content that shouldn't have been in the movie. Okay. That seems like kind of a cringe review, but okay. The quality of the animation was amazing. Great characters too. 4 stars. Verified. Unverified. Within the first few minutes of this horrible movie, my 5-year-old grandson was introduced to a scene where a young boy has a crush on another young boy, Diego. Stop trying to sexualize our kids. I am done with Disney. 1 star, unverified. I was very confused why Disney had decided to incorporate such controversial topics into a controversial gay people existing as a fucking controversial topic? What the fuck rock have you been living under? Holy shit. This movie would have been very cute if Disney had just portrayed the children all as friends. 2 star, convoluted story, mostly boring, almost didn't care. My kid liked it though. I wonder if there's a way I could see like a breakdown, because I'd like to see, because I bet you a lot of the unverified scores are 1 star. That would not surprise me at all. Yeah, oh god, gay people? Fuck. A lot of these aren't even good reviews. 1 star. Disney is driven by power and world dominance. Stop buying their products and going to their parks. Okay. Cool. So I guess you're admitting you didn't watch it. Verified. This is verified. At least terrible. Collected all the badges out of I support the current thing. 0.5 star, unverified. Why do they have to add kissing and relationships to kids' movies and shows? This movie would have been okay if it wasn't added. Disney is always trying to sexualize our children. Oh my god. Gay people existing is not sexualizing children. Fuck. Oh, this is cringe. Okay. We are watching a Nerdrotic video. We are going to get to this video.
She's upset about the lack of a crowd that showed up to see her at D23, and this is 2 minutes before she showed up, or maybe she's upset about all of it. The previous Disney Marvel D+ series, Miss Marvel, debuted number 10 on the streaming list and then disappeared. She-Hulk wasn't even on it, and D23 pissed off the most shill of shills. The MCU phase bore, which we will now
I am kind of interested what caused John Campea to do that, but like you're just going to introduce that and then just not go deeper. Cool, man.
Call Stage 4 has not been
Yeah, that's a good point, Dane. Big Lebowski, Shawshank Redemption, Blade Runner, Willy Wonka, Donnie Darko, Dazed and Confused, Fight Club, Wizard of Oz, Citizen Kane, Vertigo, Fear and Loathing were all flops. They were all box office flops, and they're considered classics today. So, yeah. Oh, and like I brought up in the last video, these guys just always just pick whatever metric suits their narrative. Whether it be audience scores or box office or whatever best suits their narrative. And like audience scores like aren't even fucking reliable because they just send their goons to bomb it anyway, so...
doing very well, and everything we have witnessed has been diminishing returns. This is an intellectual property in entropy. Outside of Spider-Man No Way Home, absolutely nothing we have seen is indicative of a healthy franchise. By the way,
Doctor Strange 2 made almost $1 billion. Shang-Chi and Black Widow were not like huge box office draws, but Black Widow was the first post-pandemic movie they released. Shang-Chi was the introduction of an entirely new character that lots of people weren't familiar with. Eternals was kind of the same thing, kind of an introduction of a new superhero team that people don't really know about. Fun fact, movies like the original Thor, The Incredible Hulk, Captain America, The First Avenger, these were not huge box office bangers either. The introduction stuff is always a bit rougher for Marvel. They get that out of the way. And then they can actually usually get like a lot of money in on the sequels. Like I said, Doctor Strange 2 made almost $1 billion. Last time I checked, $1 billion is a lot of fucking money.
Wait, has anybody brought up the giant celestial hand that's been sticking out of the ocean?
Nah, it'll be fine.
This isn't even indicative.
Well, here's something I was never quite... I always assumed that he was turned to ice. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But like... I don't recall it ever becoming a topic of a giant hand coming out of the ocean. So, like, the most we might see is, like, a news report.
of a franchise that's in trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, Marvel is dying. But wait a minute, I was always told.
Yes, Marvel is dying. That's why they have some of the biggest post-pandemic movies ever, because they're dying. That's what a dying movie studio does. Yeah, that's logic, right? Shut up.
That the next Disney Marvel thing is the best Disney Marvel thing. Doctor Strange Mom failed to capture the momentum from Spider-Man No Way Home.
Almost $1 billion. I like how they talk like almost $1 billion is some sort of fucking box office failure. Holy shit. Wow. And he's acting like we're supposed to be shocked that Doctor Strange didn't perform as well as a Spider-Man movie. Dude, do you know how huge that would have been if Doctor Strange pulled No Way Home numbers? Doctor Strange pulls a Spider-Man movie numbers? That's absurd. I mean, I think technically it did, because I think, if you look at the original Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield movies, Doctor Strange 2, I'm pretty sure, outperformed all of those. I'm pretty sure. So, I would say it did pretty fucking well.
Thor Love and Thunder was a massive disappointment, and now your latest Disney Plus series is a complete disaster. Look at that Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah, we're not going to look at the certified critic score. We don't want to look at that. Let's just zoom in on the fan scores that we can bomb.
Look at that IMDb score. Look at that Metacritic score. And we'll get back to those in just a moment. But not to worry, Disney Marvel. Your champion has arrived. Scotty Cuties Fan Mendelson.
So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband.
Who admits that Disney Marvel has a problem. One similar to DC for some reason. And, spoilers, it's your fault. Fan expectations. So Scotty's take here is those films were doing fine, and he went ahead and compared them to older films, but then excluded Captain Marvel and Black Panther.
I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, Captain Marvel and Black Panther were huge box office successes that go against your narrative anyway. We'll see where he's going with this.
I think Captain Marvel's a fine movie. I think Black Panther's terrific. But the fact that those films vastly overperformed right before, at the end of Phase 3, I think it set unrealistic expectations for what a non-event Marvel movie's supposed to do.
I mean, there's an argument there. I don't know about that. But I mean, there's an argument. I mean, Ant-Man and the Wasp didn't overperform. Hey, Mikael, thanks for the super chat. I'm glad you're here again, dude. I didn't know I went anywhere, but hey.
Will absolutely agree that Captain Marvel overperformed based on being placed between two of the most anticipated sequels of all time. And
yeah, no, they like to say, oh, Captain Marvel did really well because it was between Infinity War and Endgame. But, they ignore the fact that Ant-Man and the Wasp was actually in between those movies as well and didn't perform nearly as well. I just love how they, listen, man, we're going to ignore this stuff that goes against our narrative and just point out the stuff that goes for our narrative. I guess it's really easy to make up a story when you ignore counter evidence.
And Black Panther being a product of the single greatest marketing campaign of all time. Scotty works for Forbes.
Was it? I mean, it was a solid marketing campaign. They did release during the Black Heritage Month. Is that the proper name? That doesn't sound right. But yeah, Black History Month. But yeah, I mean, there was also just a lot of people pumped for a Black Panther movie, too.
So I think he would know that profitability is what matters. It's not the box office total. So we'll just go to Thor. Thor Ragnarok was...
Yes, Love and Thunder was an underperformer. I already went over that.
Released in November of 2017.
I don't even know if it's worthy to consider a bomb, because I'm almost certain it had to make its money back, plus some. It just underperformed expectations.
Cost $180 million to make, and it made $850 million plus worldwide. It has a domestic total, adjusted for inflation, of $322 million, compared to Thor Love and Thunder's $343 million domestic, with a $750 million plus global take. Here's the problem. It costs $250 million to make. Also, tickets are more expensive now than they were in 2017.
The ticket sale doesn't really affect how much it cost to make it. So what? Okay, Ragnarok cost 180, and it brought in 850. Love and Thunder cost 250 and made 750. That still puts it solidly in the positive, even if you assume ×2 for marketing, which would mean Love and Thunder cost 500 million and Ragnarok cost 360, right? Even if you calculate that, that still means it brought in a profit. And I think it's worth saying, anything that brings in a profit is doing fine. Lots of people don't like to bring this up, but business actually doesn't have to make profit to survive. It just has to meet its cost. The cost includes paying its employees and all that. As long as it's meeting its cost, it's doing fine. Profit is just like a nice little extra padded bonus.
$1 million plus global take. Here's the problem. It costs $250 million to make. Also, tickets are more expensive now than they were in 2017. You're charging fewer people more money to see your film with less profitability. Let's not forget those marketing costs that in this case can surpass doubling the budget of the film. And let's also not forget there's no Russia or China. Diminishing returns. And comparing Thor Ragnarok and Doctor Strange Mom with the Joker is just asinine. The same Joker that made over $1 billion worldwide without China and cost $56 million to make. Again, I will agree with you, Scotty. Black Panther and Captain Marvel overperformed, and that created expectations, and you have blamed it on the fans, but I will blame it on the investors and the people who work at Disney, because they're the ones who have the higher expectations, and they're the ones who are quietly very disappointed with the diminishing returns. Films can be hurt by the previous film in the franchise. For example, The Last Jedi directly affected Solo, #Solo lost money, and a...
Okay. Also, not a lot of people were excited for Solo. Like, Solo was perhaps I remember, like, the excitement level for Solo was, like, nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. So, yeah.
More recent example, Doctor Strange Mom directly affected Thor Love and Plunder. Why?
How do you know that? Because Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness made almost $1 billion. So, like, okay.
Because both films were pieces of crap. Speaking.
That's your opinion. Like I said, I like Multiverse of Madness quite a bit. It's not perfect, but it's pretty fucking good in my opinion.
Pieces of crap. I would just like to give Disney a little credit. I think you have cured sexism. The all-female writing staff for She-Hulk has proven that women can make shit too. We have achieved equality. I don't know, maybe you should have hired a couple of men, considering that the She-Hulk comic book was eventually successful based on the 95% male audience that read it. So let me get...
Well, maybe they wanted to expand their audience to not just the male audience, because they already have the male audience, so they want to expand it to women. You know, I'm just throwing shit out there because that's probably exactly what the fuck they were doing.
Get this straight. You decided to base a television show on a She-Hulk comic that was largely read by a male audience. You decided to hire all female writers who didn't read that comic book. On top of that, you decided to not base your TV show on the comic book, but base it on two legal shows, The Practice and Ally McBeal. Turns out that very same all-female writing staff that you hired didn't know jack about the law either. I can't imagine why this...
Yeah, no, they talked about that. Maybe they should have brought in more legal consultants. I think they were more concerned about just being entertaining than nailing the law aspects exactly. And for the most part, they succeeded. Like I said, like, I'm not in love with the She-Hulk show, but it was overall good. It had more good episodes than bad. In fact, I wouldn't even argue it had bad episodes. It had meh episodes and good episodes, and it had more good than meh.
This is failing. As I mentioned earlier, it didn't even appear in the Nielsen Top 10. That's something even Miss Marvel managed to do at number 10. That seems to fit right in with the
again, they just choose random metrics. Last I saw by the streaming standards, it did quite well. The Nielsen? Does Nielsen even measure? I don't know. I don't know anymore.
D+ pattern, starting a show at varying degrees of mediocre to crap and ending like crap. Maybe
Taki75, that was Campia's main criticism of She-Hulk. It wasn't funny enough. Yeah, I know he didn't like it. I think he gave it a negative review, and then I don't think he finished it. Which is fine. Like, if you watch She-Hulk and you don't enjoy it, that's fine. But, like, these guys, like Nerdrotic, are constantly making videos bashing it. And it's like, dude, so you didn't like it. Move on. Just move the fuck on.
it has something to do with how things are done over there at Disney Marvel.
Nothing But Media. Can you DM me that website with it in the Nielsen Top 10? Because I would love to show that.
Particularly with D+. I talked about this on Friday Night Tights 2 weeks ago, and the great Critical Drinker tweeted this out. Apologies, I'm going to have to read this sober, buddy. So apparently She-Hulk was supposed to release before Miss Marvel, but the first cut was so monumentally shit that they had to swap them around to allow for emergency reshoots.
So here's what I would guess upon looking at the She-Hulk series as it is, and since our source here is a fucking Critical Drinker tweet, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt because I don't know what the fuck his source would be. But anyways, so we saw She-Hulk. Some of the CGI was spotty. If they released it earlier, I'd guess the CGI would be even spottier. So they pushed it back so they could work on it more.
Think about that. What we're seeing now is the improved version. I believe I can get you a quote. The show was in bad shape. Really.
W&G, did you know WandaVision was meant to be around the middle of Phase 4? Yes. I think the Disney Plus shows were supposed to start up later, but instead it ended up opening Phase 4 because of the pandemic, essentially. Black Widow was supposed to come out in May of 2020, but pandemic.
Really bad. Aside from Disney Marvel being your basic bitch corporate woke disaster, they also just don't know how to make television. I think by accident they would get something right.
I do think the TV shows on...
Oh, really? Did Critical Drinker get slammed for making it? It won't surprise me, because it's like, okay, you're just saying shit. Like, that's a tweet. That's not a source. Do you have, like, what the fuck is your source, man?
Disney Plus are potentially watering down the specialness of the brand. But the good news is the amount of people watching the movies versus still a lot more than the people watching the shows.
I don't know if I agree that it could potentially dilute the MCU. I think it is, although it's just diluting sewage. Again, even the show's champions and the shills, sometimes one and the same, are turning on this, and the audience agrees. 5 out of 10 on IMDb for a Disney Marvel.
Yes, because you guys review bomb it. I'm getting sick of repeating myself. You guys make such a big fucking deal on audience scores when you guys, like, mobilize your fucking Phantom Menace goons to review bomb it. It makes these scores fucking worthless.
Marvel show, 3.2 on Metacritic for a Disney Marvel show, and 38% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. As per usual, we'll just start with the latest review from 2 hours ago. Glenn S. for 1.5 stars. This show is a stinker. People keep saying that it's supposed to be a comedy, but it's not Parks and Rec or Modern Family. Sure isn't. Not enough laughs. Actually, no laughs. Just a groan or two. I read the She-Hulk comic book back in the day, and it was more like Deadpool with lots of action and humor. I also watched 5 episodes so far, and I think I will just read the recaps for the rest of them and maybe the finale. So disappointed. From 2 hours ago, 5 stars. As a lifelong comic junkie and sitcom lover, this is fantastic. I love it. Linda C., lifelong comic junkie.
I don't believe you.
From 2 hours.
Okay, so we're going to pretend like we're being fair-minded and read all the reviews, but we're going to mock the good reviews. I got it. Good.
Hours ago, CP for a 0.5 star. The first episode was questionable, but tolerable. Not really. From there, it's gotten way worse. From 3 hours ago, from Yo Y, 1.5 stars, 30 out of 100. That's a very strange score. Maybe.
This is literally, he was going through scores and he had to like screen cap them for this video. And this is one of the ones he picked? This doesn't even say anything. The fuck, Gary? What the fuck is this? Oh, I need to pick the best ones that really make my point. 30 out of 100, what is this? Is that like a peering into your mind, Gary? Is that like, oh yes, this is exactly my thoughts put into word form? What?
Maybe you mean 3 out of 10? Same thing. What is this? It's garbage. Thunderstorm G for a half a star from 4 hours ago. At time of recording, trust me, if I could give it a 0, I would. The show is the most exhilaratingly annoying show to ever exist. She-Hulk does nothing right. They mock Banner's emotional arc. True. The humor isn't funny. Really.
They were so triggered by that scene, too. I'm so sick of that scene. Guys, women can have problems, too, and they're allowed to express them. Plus, part of the point of the first episode was that Jen should probably actually be learning more from Bruce. Instead, she's being kind of a brat about it. Like, Jesus Christ.
Really true. And it doesn't help that the CGI looks like it's from Mario Kart 64. That seems to be insulting Mario Kart 64, to be honest with you. Hulk seems to be downgraded, and She-Hulk's law arc writing is...
I don't know how he would be downgraded, but he would be a supporting character. He's not the lead here. Because he's just not. It's a She-Hulk show, not a Hulk show.
Is laughable. It feels like a 5-year-old wrote every single scene involving law because it doesn't make any sense. It's like this movie doesn't care, and as Marvel pumps out more and more products, you can tell they don't care. They don't. Carl B for 1 star. Wow. Lost for words. It just sucks. You seem to have found some there. Caleb for a half a star. Congratulations, Marvel. This is your first product that is completely without redeeming qualities. I don't know about that. I'm actually impressed at how bad this is. I'm going to have to disagree with you, Caleb. I think it's just the latest product that is completely without redeeming qualities, and it has supplanted Hawkeye as the worst thing D+ has produced. Renee L, half star. Every time I think this show can't...
I do think it's interesting how they always talk about the current Disney Plus show is the worst one. Hawkeye was the worst, apparently. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi, I know they were saying was the worst. Now they're saying it's She-Hulk. It's interesting how they just keep on moving that. I'm sure... I mean, they tried to get Willow to be a thing. It doesn't look like it's going to take, though. But I'm sure if it was a thing, they would have said, oh, this is the worst now.
Can't get any lower. They surprised me. I'm out. James S, 1.5 stars. I went down a She-Hulk rabbit hole 1 year after getting the first issue from my college comic shop, and I love the character and the backstory she had. The show has very little to none of the things I loved about the character. The show has some quirky charm to it. I don't know about that. Having cute moments, not really, when Jen has to balance out her normal life.
So, normal reviews have a nuance to them, meaning you don't usually completely shit on it. You usually have, like lots of times when I talk about a movie on the podcast or something like that, I'll be like, okay, here's something, like if it's a bad review, usually I'll open it up and be like, okay, before I go into it, here's some things I really liked and appreciate about this movie. Or if it's a positive review, I'll usually start out and say, okay, here's some issues I had before I go into my thoughts. Because usually when you do like an actual review, you talk about things you like and dislike. It seems like this person's actually going into things they like, and Gary's like, no, you're wrong on those things you like. That'd be 100% negative. Such bullshit.
Life and hero life. What hero life? And now they often cross.
Robert Hamilton. I've actually covered the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special on the podcast. Link is in the description box.
Over with one another, but this show has none of the.
Yeah, I agree, Taki. I'm kind of hoping he finishes this segment soon, because this is him picking out the negative reviews of She-Hulk, and fuck. Like, some of these aren't even fucking reviews. Like that 30 out of 100. What the fuck was that?
Soul from the comic book, and that's a huge disappointment. Yeah, when you can't equal the soul and heart of a 2-dimensional static character in a comic book in a live-action TV show.
Well, I love how he's shitting on comic books with that statement. Part of what comic books do, at least if they're done well, is they absorb you into the world just like a TV show would. And all of a sudden he's dumping on it because it's 2-dimensional pictures drawn on paper. Yeah, but if it's a good story, it will drag you in, Gary. I thought you were a comic book fan. Why are you shitting on comic books and just, making a statement that, by default, makes comic books shittier than TV shows? Because I do not agree with that statement. They're different.
you suck. I watched everything up to date so far, and I hope the show can change my mind, and if it does, I'll change my score. But right now, the show is a dud. And we'll end it with Race 4 with a half a star. Marvel has failed again with this show. They made an unlikable, annoying protagonist, and every episode is boring.
That's a banger of a review to end on. That's really a nuanced, well thought out review. Good job, Gary.
The people have spoken loudly, but you know what the ultimate failure is? Trying to mock you and I in the show. Not once, but twice.
They took the Hulk's manhood away, but then they...
Well, Gary, I have an issue with that, because they didn't mock me in the show. They mocked you.
They gave it to a woman?
Yeah, man. I don't get it. Why are you doing that? I have no problem with female heroes. I'm just saying, make your own. I don't know about y'all, but I'd smash.
Oh. This is... What? What is this? Mal.
I love... Is there anything more cringe than corporate memes? And the saddest part is, this was the one time I laughed at the show, unintentionally, attacking and mocking your core audience.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Again, the insanity of attacking.
No, it was mocking you, Gary, not the audience.
Your core paying customer, when all it would do to take to please us would be maybe instead of thinking about us and having YouTubers in your head, maybe try just to adapt the comic book. But if you needed proof that they've always hated nerds and they still hate nerds, they're
not making fun of nerds. They're making fun of incels. They're making fun of a lot of your fan base, Gary. A lot of them. They're making fun of you too, buddy.
There it is. And you know why they thoroughly dislike the comic book fan? Because they think we make them look bad.
They're not making fun of the comic book fans. Stop saying they're doing that, because they're not. They're not. The comic book fans are largely fine with the show.
Because they don't take it seriously. They think it's silly, and we don't. But the ultimate truth is they make themselves look bad, and particularly with She-Hulk, they have to live with one undeniable truth. The MCU is killing the MCU, and things have gotten so bad with the...
God damn it, I want to talk to these guys. I want to talk to Jeremy Griggs. I want to talk to Gary Buechler. I want to talk to Nerdrotic. I want to know how he can call this the MCU when 2 out of the 3 MCU movies released this year have starred middle-aged white men. How is the MCU even a relevant thing to call it? It's not. It's just so full of shit.
Core Disney Marvel that they need the Fox X-Men to save them.
Hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yeah, sure, Ryan.
Deadpool 3 was announced today with Ryan Reynolds joining Hugh Jackman, who's returning as Wolverine, and that is exciting news.
Yes! Oh, come on! Oh!
Almost, but not quite as exciting as Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire going back to Spider-Man. And how did that help the rest of Marvel Stage 4? It made it look worse. Again, it's a brilliant...
What? How did the reunion of the 3 Spider-Mans make Marvel look worse? What? I love how they just say shit, but, like, they don't have any, like, source or anything. They just, like, say shit. Dude, No Way Home was cool. I'm pretty sure you gave it a positive review. I know lots of these guys don't even do positive reviews on their main channels anymore, but fuck, man. How does it make it look worse? What the fuck?
Move. Is it a sign of things changing, or is it the equivalent of the Rolling Stones announcing another tour and expecting that to save the music industry?
I don't think they're trying to save the music industry. I think they're trying to make money. Hell, I'll be blunt. If the Rolling Stones weren't wildly overpriced, I would go to it, because they are legends. They probably put on a solid show, even though they are not young.
Time will tell. And before you get too excited, we still need that Fantastic Four and X-Men casting. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you...
Wow. Just so many bad takes, so many just assumptions dropped in there. That was ridiculous. Now, hold on, because Dane sent me a graphic to share. So, give me one moment to dig this up. Derp. MCU derp. Yep, Yep. Oh, look, it did poorly. We review bombed it, and now the audience scores are low. Isn't it a bomb? It makes a good point. It makes a good point. I am so intensely done with Gary right now.
They think order and chaos are somehow opposites and try to control what won't.
Do you enjoy pain?
Pain don't hurt.